As your fab shop grows, you need to look ahead. What's the next step? Where do we go from here? How can we improve our part quality? How can we improve our efficiency? Is there a way to do both? The answer is yes. It's called the CNC plasma table. As a distributor of welding equipment and supplies, Purity Cylinder Gases is very familiar with all sorts of companies that manufacture these machines. This is precisely why we're here, to showcase Lone Star, a manufacturer that rises to the top of the CNC cutting table arena. In this video, we'll walk through the software, we'll talk a little bit about Hypertherm, and we'll leave you with a few final questions to ask yourself as you explore the CNC plasma table possibilities.
So the Lone Star Cutting Solutions machines are all quoted to be turnkey. They include the machine, the software, training, and freight. There are three pieces of software that we include in the quote. We use a product by Vectric called VCarve Pro, and this is a CAD software. Those of you that are, say, structural customers, ease of drawing a base plate. Let's say we want to make a 10 by 10. Actually, let's say some railing guys. We're going to do a 6 by 6. We want a radiused external edge so that we don't have any sharp corners. Let's say we want to put a 5/8 hole. And we're going to tell it that we need at the center point an inch in from each corner. All right. Now we have our base plate, radiused corners, and 4 bolt holes. Save as, give it a name. And the final step with VCarve is to export it as a DXF file. Second piece of software that's included with the Lone Star Cutting Solutions package is SheetCam. This is your CAM software that creates your tool paths. So we're going to import that drawing we just created. We're going to create couple jet cutting operations. One is going to be an inside offset. Select the appropriate layer. Select the appropriate tool. 1/4-inch steel, 65 amp consumables. Set at 93 inches a minute. All of these specifications are from the Hypertherm manual. Great starting point. Do a perpendicular lead in. I like to do the thickness of the material with an arc lead out. There's your lead in. Cuts counterclockwise, lead out. So that sets up tool paths for your 4 holes. Second jet cutting operation would be an outside offset. So we're taking the kerf width of your plasma stream into account. Select the border layer. Tool stays the same. And we're going to click OK. From here, File, Save Part As. And the final step is to run the post-processor. This takes all that information that we input and it converts it to G-code. Now the control software, we use a Mach 3 platform that's been custom tailored to Lone Star's specifications. Load my G-code. And it's telling me on the screen now that my last 00 start point was way down here. If I wanted to create a new start point, I can manually jog the machine. So I'm just visually choosing a new point. I click on my coordinates, 0 my X, 0 my Y, 0 my Z, refresh my display. Now I can check to to see if my part's going to fit on the plate.
It's like doing like a little dry run or something?
It dry runs the outermost perimeter of your part as a rectangle or a square. And from here we can hit cycle start and cut this part out.
So it's ready to go.
It's ready to go, but the Power Max is not ready to go. I need to put in 65 amp consumables. We're running a Hypertherm Power Max 85 sink. It's as simple as this. I'm putting the 65 amp cartridge on. I'm going to cycle the power on the machine. When I fire it back up, it's automatically going to recognize that it's a 65 amp cartridge.
Can you explain what this little wire is right here?
That is ohmic sensing. So you have the work lead connected. The torch comes down, and when it makes contact with the plate, it closes the circuit, and it sends a message back to the controller that says, yes, I know where the plate is, and that's what it bases its programmed measurements off of. So it's pierce height, so on and so forth. That is the nice thing about the Sync product, is using the cartridges, you're no longer relying on the operator to put the correct nozzle and electrode in based on the amperage that you're going to be cutting at.
Sure.
So it eliminates a little bit of operator error. It also limits you from cutting at a higher amperage than what the cartridge is rated for. So with 65 amp cartridge, even though we're using an 85, you cannot exceed 65 amps. You can turn the amperage down, but you cannot exceed it. Right. Now I can hit cycle start. It's going to ask me to move to the X and Y 0 and save location. Yes, I'm going to. And it's going to drive over to that pre-programmed spot.
You did it. You made that with that.
You can also go into your sheet cam and nest these parts simply.
What do you mean by that?
So this sheet cam is very inexpensive software that has some nice features for the money. So let's say you're going to cut, you need 30 of these. I can go to array parts and I can do 5 columns, 6 rows. That was a good guess, 30. And just like that, I now have my part spacing. I have 30 parts that I can tell the machine to start cutting. A CNC plasma machine acts as an additional employee that's not going to call in sick. He's not going to take a smoke break. He's not going to bitch and complain. You send a program to it, it's going to cut the parts out. The employees that you do have are going to be more productive because certain customers right now are doing multiple steps, taking a sheet of flat stock, shearing it in an iron worker, punching holes, nipping the corners. Now this machine can do all of that one time. You're not having, moving it from this machine to this machine. You got to worry about operator error and rework. Those are the things you got to ask yourself.
If you have any questions at all, or would like a private demo for yourself, give us a call.